Hello? Wow. Well, I'm my own worst critic, and as soon as I watch this, I'm gonna be like, oh my god, am I an idiot? I'm an idiot. I should just not even exist. Um, but here it goes. In a way, that's kind of the hardest question to answer. Um, I started out last year, well, I started planning a couple years ago, this year where I would do everything entirely in red. Um, to gauge the perceptual and linguistic and social changes, psychological changes, if any, that would occur. I had just read Chromophobia and read a lot of ophthalmology studies. My mom is an ophthalmologist about color, and it was really interesting to me. The sciencey part about color and how and why we perceive it, because not a lot has really been done in that area, it seems like. But I wanted to see, what would happen. Other artists have had monochromatic periods of their lives. Picasso had a couple. I don't know. You always see him at the MoMA. So I figured I'd give it a try. Um, it went great, and then it didn't go that well. Um, it was way too broad for me to do, and there was way too much data for me to collect and process within a year. But at the same time, I got a whole lot out of it. I learned a whole lot. And I kind of did it also because, I mean, I can't deny there is a bit of a not narcissistic, but cheap signaling kind of aspect to it. How many people do you see on the streets that are dressed up all in a single obnoxious color like red? Probably not very many. I only know I know one person that is all in purple and one person that is all in green, but you don't see them that often, and it's an excuse to meet other interesting characters. Um, it's a way to start conversation. So they're it's a mixed bag as far as why, and I couldn't give you just one straight answer. Much less an answer to be fit within a minute. I kind of wish I was an intellectual. I don't think I am, um, but I like listening to them, and I enjoy that kind of art. But for me personally, I think there's also within the art world this kind of cynicism and dryness that comes with intellectual fine art, painting, sculpture, whatever, um, that I can enjoy, but I don't enjoy the practice of, or I just do not feel like I fit in that category. Um, I'm only 23, and that might be old for some people, but for me, I still feel like I'm like mentally like the age of 6 or 7, and prefer that scope of imagination and prefer that kind of lens to see the world. I am trying to figure out where exactly I fit within painting, and that is a very difficult thing. I started painting, or I chose to do painting, major in painting at RISD because you didn't have to stay within like the medium of painting. Like it was mostly just artist or fine artist really that explored concepts that appeared in painting but didn't necessarily have to do strictly with putting paint on a canvas. Um, and I do very much love painting, but there like I've never really been a very decisive person, I guess, or not. I I have to be kind of coaxed into one thing or another. I get hypercritical of the thing that I'm currently working on and always think I could be doing something better. So I feel like that is why I'm kind of like stuck in there. Or rather, not sticking to any particular, I don't know if you want to call it style. I don't feel like I'm old enough to have like a style yet. I don't think I should have a style. Um, there's this one guy, this one artist, Brain Cell. He's a male artist, correspondent artist, who does these beautiful little rubber stamp um, collages, I guess you would call them. They're amazing, and he does one like he's done them for years and years and years. Like I don't even know, like 30 years or something crazy, at least 20 years. But that's like all he does. And while it's great and it's awesome, and they're really beautiful, I couldn't imagine staying married to like a particular topic for 20 years. Maybe a topic, but like exploring it in breadth rather than like depth, I guess. I think you can achieve depth through breadth. I think painting is more of an ideological category than a physical category. I think there are specific ways that painters think that can be applied to other arts or other forms of art like sculpture, or video art or any of those things. You can approach those in a painterly manner. I think it's more important what makes painting as a category is more like certain things that are really paid attention to in painting or accentuated in painting, like the issue of creating an illusion, um, considering a two-dimensional surface, color, you can almost push it towards illustration where like how do you incorporate narrative? I think it's hard for me to pinpoint um what those boundaries are. I think art is a very um, selfish profession, I guess. Um, and I'm not going to deny that. I'm very self-oriented, and that's probably why I think, well, actually no, only selfish in terms of like it being oriented to the self. I think it's important to externalize any of those things going on in my head, though, in order to kind of balance it out, because then once they're externalized and they're made, other people can get something out of them. There is a band, Cigaros. Their music, I kind of take, I guess, inspiration, not even inspiration, but just like I'm comforted by their music in that I am able to pull an immense amount from that. Like their music has saved my life, and their music is an art form. Similarly, I think if I can create something that had that kind of effect on someone, where they were able to figure things out about themselves through that medium, then I've done my work as an artist. Then I will have proved to be useful in the world.